everybody's trading in their Teslas and nobody knows why. And you're like,
oh yeah,
oh really? Nobody knows why?
everybody knows why.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Blue Sedition podcast. Whoa, Mike, you seem to... Whoa! You seem shocked to be here. Are you shocked?
We made it.
We did.
We made it another week.
Dude,
here we are.
Episode is this 37?
37, I think.
That sounds right. That sounds like something we would do. And you'll see we did some stuff. Look, here's my name. I'm Nate Brady. Mike also has a name.
I'm Mike Smith. Am I here?
You're there. Yeah, no, you nailed it. No, the first time. You got it. No, the other way. The other way. You did it. Mike Smith. Listen, we don't pay the guys on Fiverr to do any work. We're both broke. But we're putting an effort into this. You see, we have things down here. We've got our YouTube up top and the blue ski because we don't use the Nazi social media site. Well, either of the Nazi social media sites, any of the Nazi social media sites.
Is there another Nazi social media site?
Well, there's at least two, right? There's X and Truth Social, right? So.
Oh, I just didn't assume anybody used Truth Social.
I mean, the current president of the United States uses Truth Social. Embarrassing.
He does.
I think he owns it, or I don't know. Does Devin Nunes Cow still run that site? Like, is he still the CEO? I don't know.
Nobody knows any of these people as they pass through his life.
Yeah. All right. That's fair. We got an action-packed show otherwise. I guess we can kick it off since it's topical right now. There's a senator, there's a Democratic senator by the name of Cory Booker. He's doing something right now. What's he doing?
I think you're mistaken. I was told by Chuck Schumer that they can't do anything.
Oh,
wait,
no, this is the story. He's got a gun. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, here we go. I think, and it's a little bit longer than that now. I think he's going on 21 hours. Cory Booker is, don't call it a filibuster. I see a lot of people calling it a filibuster. It is not a filibuster. It is.
What is it?
He's not blocking any specific legislation.
Okay.
So in the traditional sense, it's not a filibuster. It's more of a disruption of the regular. And this is the problem I have with this. Okay, so people are gonna give Cory a lot of credit here. Fine, I'll give him I'm gonna give him a little bit of credit. Okay, I'm gonna give him a little bit of credit.
Look, do you like Chuck Schumer more? Or
Cory Jesus Christ! Come on.
I'm asking questions.
No, I'm saying we're not doing enough. This is a good start. Okay. However, come on.
Doing more than nothing is good.
Thank you for doing something. Now, I hope this continues. I hope somebody picks it. I hope they have a plan that we don't know about where Cory's going to go 24 hours and then somebody else is going to step in and go 24 hours and they're just going to keep doing it. Now that's how you fight. Okay. But I'm going to tell you right now that this, to me, why weren't you doing this when there was legislation?
Confirmation hearings.
When there was confirmation hearings going on. Why are you doing this when there was nothing scheduled to happen today and pretending like it is this cool, big, major disruption? There better be more, is all I'm saying. Don't stop here. Okay?
Don't stop now.
Don't stop. That's my take. That's my whole take on this. Is I see people calling him a hero. Listen, guys, we've had a lot of fucking time to stop Trump and this administration, and it's a little bit late on. Is this an April Fool's Day joke? Is that what they're doing?
You know, I don't know. I don't think it is, but you can't really tell anymore. I think I said it to you earlier when we were doing the pre-show note stuff, where I was like, I've not really seen a lot of, April Fool's things going around. So maybe this is just the most elaborate April Fool's joke ever.
I think April Fool's is really hard in a post-truth society, right? Like, it's hard.
Yeah. Because you're right. 15, 20 years ago, somebody would post something on Facebook or whatever, or like their personal blog, and it had to have that like nugget of truth. It had to be somewhat believable.
Right.
but outlandish enough that it would spread like wildfire.
Yeah.
And now you're just like, I found monkeys on the moon and they live in the caves. And you're just like, yeah, probably.
Probably.
This world makes no sense to me.
Yeah. Oh, Donald
They
Trump
deported the monkeys? Is that what happened?
Donald Trump has attacked Iceland and taken it over. And you're like, Iceland? Don't you mean Greenland? Or weren't they doing a Greenland thing? No. It just Iceland. And it was an administrative error, but now it's too late. So they're not going.
Oh.
And you're like, oh, all right. Well, that's probably real. So yeah, I get it. I know Mike's looking it up right now. Wait, did Trump attack Iceland? No, it's not. I just made that up. So yeah, we're not. Anyway, I don't have a lot to say on this except, God damn it, we lost Mike. I lost him. What happened?
Did I get lost?
Yeah, you left us.
Oh no, on my screen you like froze, and then I was sitting there to dead air for 20 seconds.
No, Jesus. I thought you were looking up whether we're gonna edit all this out, folks. If you're seeing this, it's because I didn't.
It's all gone wrong.
It's because I didn't feel like editing it out. So enjoy it. Okay. All right. So all I was saying was I don't have a lot more to say on this except it better continue. This can't be it. And I'm hoping I'm gonna move us into our next two stories, I guess, tonight.
Yeah, I just a couple of items on this one. I will say that he's already yielded time a few times to other members of the Democratic caucus who've taken the floor while he used the bathroom or whatever, and then they come back and yield it back to them. So it isn't exactly standalone here, but it is, again, something. It's better than us just going, do something, and nobody does anything.
So listen, I don't know. I don't even understand how this is like a thing you can do. And we've talked about the filibuster in the past at length, but how long can you hand it off to somebody? Like, say I hand it off to Bernie Sanders, right? Can Bernie talk for 4 hours while I take a quick 3-hour nap and come back and give it another 9-10 hours? Like,
not in a traditional filibuster. When you're trying to stop a vote on something, you actually have to stand there and filibuster. I don't know,
sure?
Like you said at the outset. Well, pretty sure. I mean, maybe we should look that up. But in this, like, there's no vote, there's no motion to vacate, there's none of that stuff. So he can just keep talking. So I don't think that it matters as much. I don't know.
Well, if somebody yelled, like if Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's not in the Senate, so that's
right.
But if she was like, Cory Booker's got a gun, and they, can they take him out of there, and then that pretty much ends this, I
don't know. Yeah. I really don't know.
So Strom Thurmond has the longest solo filibuster in the U.S. Senate. He did it for 24 hours and 18 minutes. What do you think he did that against? What do you think he was filibustering against? Take a wild
guess. Strom
Thurmond. I'll give you a hint. And I bet you'll nail it. 1957.
Segregation?
Civil
or
rights.
Desegregation,
Civil Rights Act. Good man. Fucking man. Okay, so let's move on. We have a couple of elections going on tonight. Some really important elections. Polls will be closing soon. I think they're I don't know what time they're open in Florida, but I know that in Wisconsin some polls are closing at 5. But currently, the first race that we want to talk about is the Supreme Court race, which faces that Schimmel dude and the George Soros-backed Susan Crawford. I want to talk about this for a couple of reasons, right? We tweeted from our Bluesky account yesterday a couple of U.S. laws, and I just want to share them and read them out for people, and then give them some context into why I tweeted this, or I keep saying tweeted. You know what? Can I just rename Blue Sky to Twitter? Can we take that?
They're not using that name.
I mean, nobody's using it, right? So 18 U.S. Code 597, it is illegal to make or offer expenditures to vote, withhold a vote, or vote for or against a candidate. Okay, that seems pretty clear, right? Covered all the bases. 52 USC 10307C prohibits paying or accepting payment for registering to vote or voting, with penalties of up to $10,000 in fines and 5 years of imprisonment. So then I want to go, I don't know if you caught it when I first shared the story, so let's go back and see, what is this? What is that giant check? What is this check for?
I don't know. It doesn't. It says spokesperson.
Yeah.
In the memo line.
Yeah. It says he declared them spokespeople for his political group. But I mean, obvious. This couldn't be more obvious what he's doing here, right? He was paying people to go door to door. He was paying people to sign his petition. He was putting people in a lottery. He was trying to get people, hey, tell me that you got 5 other people to vote, and I'll put you in this lottery. I mean, it's so clear what he's doing here. He's dumping so much money into this race. The other night on, I don't know whether it was Fox or American Patriot Eagle News, but he, they were showing him speaking at the Wisconsin rally, which had very few people, much fewer than the number of people that Bernie Sanders and AOC got.
It's a special election to fill a state Supreme Court seat in April. Okay.
Yeah.
This is going to have the least amount of visibility of every political election that's ever happened.
But Elon calls it one of the most important elections for humanity. And that's
it is not the reason he thinks it is, but it is very important. Obviously, Wisconsin has had a horribly gerrymandered election map,
right,
done by the Republicans, and they have a case sitting to be heard by their state Supreme Court to draw new lines, and they're waiting on this election here to take that up. If a Democrat wins it, obviously Republicans are going to be upset because they're going to fix the gerrymander. If they were better, they'd gerrymander in favor of the Democrats, because fuck it, right? But so this is an important election. If you want Wisconsin to be red forever, then the Republican needs to win. That's mainly what Elon's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, you can see just from this article, Susan Crawford's a Dane County judge who led legal fights to protect union power. Remember when the unions were like, no, Trump will be good for us. Protect abortion rights and opposes voter ID.
I remember when the unions were like, we're not backing a candidate this time around.
And yeah, we know what that meant, though.
Just as a sidebar on that one, how many of these guys, the unions and these figures who would often back a candidate in presidential races of the past, how much of their internal polling must have said, oh, it's neck and neck, and I don't want to make an enemy out of either party? I mean, how much of that had to go on, right? Because we're seeing it now. Trump is coming back with a vengeance and just using the executive branch and the judicial branches as cudgels against his enemies.
I mean, that's the scary thing.
So if I'm the Teamsters, I'm like, I don't want to get into a lawsuit with this crazy person.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's I don't know. I think that might be part of it. My main concern is what's that going to do for future elections, right? I mean, Trump is literally going after law firms, and they're capitulating. He's going after law firms. They're donating hundreds of millions of dollars of pro bono time now to him and his pursuits to take over the world or whatever. So yeah, you don't want to come out anymore against these political candidates. But you know what? The Democrats aren't going to do that. The Democrats aren't going to make executive orders to to shut down your law firm, ostensibly,
That's why we're here now. If Biden had the courage to use his immune executive action authority,
right,
we wouldn't be here today.
Right.
Just
missed.
Just missed.
I
also want to point out, this, going back to this Musk thing, that this the whole lottery thing is such a scam. They already admitted that the person who won the lottery was picked in advance, and it didn't matter because it doesn't matter if you actually, I don't remember what the opt-in is like, but let's say that they had like a sign-up form. Didn't matter if you filled that out. You're not getting picked. They already know who they're giving the $1 million to, and it's not you.
Right.
So this thing already, by virtue of being like electioneering, it's like it's illegal on many fronts. And I think the voters who signed up for this would probably sue Elon Musk.
I mean, I'd like to see a lot of that. I'd like to see a lot of suing Elon Musk. I mean, while we're on the topic of Elon, before we switch over to the next race, and by the way, just okay, let me take a step back because you said something important though.
Yeah.
You talked about redistricting in
Yep.
Wisconsin, and yeah, this is
Yep.
this is a really really important race. So I just want to state that I'm worried on two fronts. I'm worried that if oh god, I already forgot his name because Schimmel. If Schimmel wins, or if Schimmel loses, he's not going to concede, and he's going to have a whole insane federal government behind.
Because we're seeing that in North Carolina, right? That's the same thing that's going on there, where there was a state Supreme Court victory for the Democrat, and it's been 4 months, and the guy's still in a lawsuit over it.
Yeah, I think that one's pretty much. I think that's pretty much over.
But it's going to be the same. It's the same thing, like you're talking about. It's going to be this same dog and pony show. Stolen and
voter ID and all of these, and there's Venezuelan gang members. We have to deport them and do a special election and blah blah blah. So yeah, I mean, I am worried. What is this guy on my screen? Why? Go away.
He's beautiful.
I need some pie hole up in here for this browser. So yeah, so I just wanted to make sure it is clear. It actually is a really important election. I am never going to say that I'm hopeful ever again when it comes to elections.
That makes sense.
So we'll just see what happens. We're going to have results hopefully in the next couple of hours, and I'm sure we'll be posting about it on our Blue Sky. So let's be hopeful here. But then the next race, and I can bring that one up.
Florida.
Flo Rida. I think it's Flo Rida.
Oh, is it Flo Rida?
It's Flo Rida.
What's he running for?
No, it's not. Okay, sorry. So yeah, so this race, there's two races going on, but both for the 1st and 6th congressional districts in Florida. Matt Gaetz, of course, his seat is up. Alleged pedophile Matt Gaetz, and then Michael Waltz, who I don't know if he's an alleged pedophile or not.
Matt Gaetz is still with Newsmax now, right? He's decided that was his calling after all.
I don't know. Was it Newsmax or OAN? He's on one of them, and he's got his own show. But now, at least, I don't hear about him every day.
I still don't understand if I'm Matt Gaetz, and I have proven time and time again that I have no scruples, and I don't care what people think of me. Why on earth would you have resigned from the AG position? Like, it doesn't. I still don't understand it.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me either.
He won his seat, so why not go back and be a representative from Florida? That's pretty funny too. That would have been how you really, we
talked about whatever. I thought he was going to do it. We talked about.
I thought he was going to do it.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, turns out it didn't. So let's see. Trump, of course, endorsed in both Patronus, which is unfortunately a really great name if you're in Florida. Because you got the Harry Potter fans and the
yeah.
So if somebody's just going in and is like, I don't know, but thankfully this is not a quote unquote nonpartisan race like the Supreme Court race is. It's supposedly nonpartisan, meaning that you won't be able to look at the ballot and just by walking in and not knowing anything about the candidates know that you can check off just the Republican or the Democrat based on your political affiliation.
Right.
That one, you have to know something going in. For these races, of course, you'll have the R next to Patronus and the D next to Gay Valamont. But it's almost like Patronus versus Voldemort. Like, it's not because it's Valamont. It's not a great. I know that's probably
really interesting. I think that you touched on something that I had never considered before, but it's a good thing. I think is that in those nonpartisan seats, because we vote for judges positions and things like that in local elections, and I think you're right. I don't think they put party affiliation next to them. They just put their current or their last occupation. So they'll be like prosecutor for the whatever district, and if they're going to become like a federal judge and they were a state judge at blah blah blah. and it doesn't say anything about that you actually have to go and do research. So I
Right.
feel
Yeah.
like in those cases, it probably is more beneficial to the Democrats because the Republicans are like, I don't fucking know, and then they walk away. Is that you think?
Okay, so I'm gonna say yes, probably in most cases. I'm gonna say, just as somebody who leans left, very far left.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Well, you know what you and I do?
we
Like
we
you and I
look it
sit
up. We
down
go online. We
and we look it up. We
research.
like make little cheat sheets and
We
we know who
find
we're going to vote
voter
for and
guides and
why.
cross reference and
Yeah,
do all
yeah,
that stuff. And I think in the case of the Michigan, or excuse me, the Wisconsin Supreme Court race, um,
yeah.
that would normally work in our favor, but the Republicans are just going to vote for the guy anyway. So
Oh, is it guy versus? Can you
it's
tell by the name?
well, it's Susan versus
Okay.
yeah. So of course you can.
Yeah, you're probably right then. They're gonna be like, I'm not gonna vote for no woman. I don't care what the position is.
Yeah. So in the other race in Waltz's seat, the Democrats have actually outperformed the Republicans 10-1 fundraising, which is really
Fundraising.
surprising, especially considering a lot of people I know are done donating to Democrats until they grow a
Oh,
fucking spine. Right?
yeah, done. 100% done.
Yeah.
I've been responding to a lot of their messaging with you don't get any more dollars till you do something.
And I'm wondering if part of Cory Booker's I'm going to call it a performance right now, because
Yeah,
that's
it's a
all it
performance, of course.
is
Yeah.
Because those internal numbers are going, oh my god, where is the money? Like, we thought there'd be tons of money coming in to like help defeat Trump, but how long can we
Yeah.
do that, man? Like, how long can you keep asking us for money for saving women's rights, for doing all the stuff that you promised that you were going to do, and then you roll over and play dead?
Yeah.
So so historically, this is both districts are strong Republican districts, and polling indicates that both contests are much closer than expected. I would just love to see some upsets here, because I think, is this a referendum on Trump and Elon? Not necessarily, no, but I think it is a
Maybe
good,
well, in the one race for Michael Waltz's seat.
yeah,
I apologize. I don't remember the name of the candidate, the Democratic candidate.
whale.
Whale, thank
Yeah.
you. And their whole campaign has been, he ran on Drain the Swamp, but he brought Elon with him, and now it's billionaires running the swamp.
Right.
And so, I mean, like that they use the kind of messaging that I think resonates with people who are a little pissed off about the government.
Yeah.
That one, at the very least, I think the messaging was good. I haven't heard much else out of the other one. I don't think that they were expected. I don't think anybody expected either of them to be very close.
Now, none of this is going to change anything if Republicans ostensibly hold, those two seats. It's not going to change anything in the House. If Democrats win those seats, it's going to be an extremely close.
Right. What is it right now? It's 218 to 213.
Yeah. So it'd be 218.
And there's 4 vacancies at the moment.
Right.
So Matt Gaetz is one of those vacancies, and Michael Waltz is another one.
Right. And and again, so, it's expected that it'll stay that way, right? Like, it'll stay Republican for both of them.
They'll stay. Yeah, they. I think that the betting line has got these 2 seats going red. It's Florida. And that would put them up to what, 218 or 220, 213?
Well, let's see, because we know where all the money is, and we've seen that the polymarket billionaires seem to have a really good.
Are you going to bring up polymarket for us?
Oh, whoa, friends.
Share with me.
Whoa. First, let's bring up Wisconsin. Susan Crawford, 84% chance of victory. That is huge. And it
polymarket.
Yeah, starting on the 12th, things started to take off. And I got to tell you guys, polymarket is there's a lot of whales on here spending a ton of money. And look, did it just go up to 89%? Well, no, okay. And They seem to be getting it right. So that's really interesting. That's hopeful. That's the most promising news. I just said I didn't want to be hopeful anymore. Let's go back
He
to
can't stop himself.
can't stop himself. Can we see let's see. Can we see the Florida one on here? Here it is. Nope. No. Florida 6. Randy Fine margin of victory. Yeah, so it looks like that's just saying, well, Randy Fine is winning outright.
Yeah, he's won, and we're just betting on what the spread
Yeah.
is.
And what's the other one? Whale, right? So let's look. Whale.
Yeah,
See if that's in here.
there it is. No, that's the same one. This is Randy Fine and Whale.
Oh yeah, that's the same race. Yeah, so Whale has a 1% chance of winning. Sorry, who's Patronus versus Valamont?
Yeah, versus Voldemort. Come on, you made the joke.
I made the joke. Yeah, so Valamont 1% chance. Yeah, so it doesn't.
Yeah,
whoa, what happened here? Good. Now again, doesn't look like there's a huge volume on either of these two. In fact, let's go back and check the volume.
There.
Yeah, let's go back and 600,000. Let's see. Let's go back and check the volume of. Why is it just take me back to the front page? What are you doing? 2 million in volume on the Wisconsin. That gives me.
Supreme Court.
Listen, if we walk away from this, with the Wisconsin Supreme Court seat, but the other 2 seats, which are in very strong Republican districts.
Look, there's a side bet for the Wisconsin Supreme Court election. It's Susan Crawford's margin of victory, so they're betting the spread there too.
Okay, so I mean that's pretty telling, I guess.
And that one's got another 300,000 behind it, so it's interesting.
Yeah. All right. So, like I said, if we come out of there with the Wisconsin Supreme Court seat, and but
that one's important.
Yeah,
I don't think the other 2 seats are going to be.
I don't think they were ever up for.
No, I think that they're fun to talk about, but they're not realistic.
Now we'll definitely look at the margin of victory, and if it's surprising, that would be fantastic. And hopefully, hopefully a sign. We'll also have to look at it historically. Okay, what was it?
Yeah, for sure.
In the last
Gates' last one,
right? Exactly. And I believe
it's going to be hard for that one too, like we were saying before, because it is a special election. Finding that in context is hard to do.
Right. I know that
we'll do our best.
Gates actually was up against Baltimore. Gates was that's who Gates's opponent was, Valamont.
Really?
And she picked up
in a primary.
Yeah, no. In he won the election. His seat was up. Remember in this last cycle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he won the election, but I think it was close. I mean, it wasn't close. It was like 60-40, but she picked up 40% of the vote against a national figure like Matt Gaetz, which is
alleged child.
Alleged. You have to say alleged. We got to give the guy some credit.
I alleged it. No, I didn't allege.
When you call him a child molester or a pedophile or a human sex trafficker, make sure that you.
Alleged sex pest.
I mean, that's a little. Honestly, I think sex pest is a little too nice. For people like Matt Gaetz, allegedly.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. We don't know. There's not been any that he hasn't. I think due process is really important in this country,
especially for criminals.
For criminals,
because they needed the most, right?
Right.
So if Matt Gaetz is, guilty of sexual assault style crimes, he should be allowed to defend himself in court.
Yeah, I think that'd be really great. Like,
seems fair.
Because how crazy would it be? Let's say if we took Matt Gaetz and we said, actually, you did do sex trafficking, and then we deported him to like an El Salvadorian prison, right? And then we were like,
labor camp, sure.
Labor camp, sure. Sure. And we said, we forgot about due process. Administrative error. We totally forgot. But we already dropped him off. It's nothing we can do.
Surely you have to like bring him back so that he can get his due process, right?
So in case you haven't picked up on this, we're alluding to Another story that has been breaking over the past couple of days that I wish was an April Fool's joke. The Trump administration has picked up a father who is here legally in Maryland and deported him, sent him to the El Salvadorian labor camp, and then was like, oh shoot, that was actually an administrative error. So great, it was an administrative error. We're gonna go get him out of there. We're gonna go get him back, right? Are we gonna do that? Are we gonna do that, Mike?
No. Well, we could. I need to get my passport first. Probably, I don't know, several $1 million to bribe the El Salvadorian government, but we could do that, sure.
But it turns out the Trump administration has said we're actually not going to do that. We're not going to go get him.
It's just a whoopsie doodle.
I mean,
the whole thing. I think that it's starting. I think it's starting. So I have this quote.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me how it's starting.
Give you the quote. It says, it's hard to know what's real and what's not real, but if it is real, this is fucking horrible. That was from Joe Rogan in response to this story on his podcast.
Joe Rogan.
I think that normal people are going to start understanding here, because it's literally them saying, oh yeah, we fucked up and deported somebody that shouldn't have been deported, should have had legal due process in front of them. But we just put them on a plane and sent them away, and we're not going to fix it.
So,
and I think that every American can get behind, no, that's terrible. Do better.
Well, every American, you'd think, except the guy's name is Abrego Garcia. So, of course, not every American is going to say, bring him back. Let's just talk about Abrego Garcia for a second, because he actually fled El Salvador. So he's one of the few people going to this labor camp who's actually from there. So hey, look on the bright side, right?
Who was fleeing the labor camp. Because he didn't want his government to lock him up.
Well, he fled El Salvador due to gang violence in 2011. That's the reason why he fled. And now he's back in El Salvador, being put into a prison with alleged gang members. He sought asylum in the United States, which is a beautiful thing that we offer, and he was granted a withholding of removal in 2019, which legally protects you from deportation. The man asked for asylum. The United States does this incredible thing. We gave him asylum, and look what we just did to him. I mean,
we essentially signed his death. You know what I mean?
Seriously.
And not only that, but you completely destroyed his family, who was living with him until he was deported. And nobody, and you don't care. You just don't give a shit as the government. It's very scary. I have to imagine that being a person of color in the United States right now is probably as scary as it's ever been in our lifetime.
I can't imagine. I mean,
we've seen the videos. We've seen the videos of people just walking down the street, and then four what are you unbadged or whatever. There's like undercovers jump out of ban you.
Masked thugs with no identification. Just won't answer questions, just dragging you off the streets. I'm sorry, I keep saying Salvadorian, but it's Salvadoran, because I'm learning how to read. But there's apparently a huge Salvadoran American community in Maryland, and there is a significant uprising within that community right now.
I'm sure.
Yeah, obviously. I would just ask everybody to be careful, especially if you don't look like this, which is, as pale as you can fucking look. Please do everything you can to protect yourself right now. Go about things the legal way. Certainly call your senator. I mean, I don't know what else to do here other than getting out in the streets and protesting. I don't really know what else to do.
That's what you have to do.
So
Now
yes,
the big orange idiot's going to tell, go on Truth Social and claim that everybody who's protesting this is secretly MS-13, and then Elon will get on Twitter and say that they're all, bots or paid for or whatever.
right. Yeah.
But I mean, it just comes down to like, what are we going to stand up for, or what are we going to allow to happen as a country?
Right.
Deporting people who are here the right reasons for the right way, just because they're brown.
Now they're like, do it the right way. You got to do it the right way. There's a process. And like, okay,
Yeah.
he did the process. He did the
The
process.
government's position was that, he has links to MS-13, and we would respond with, yeah, he was fleeing MS-13. He said so.
But even still, prove it then. Prove it. Show us the links in a court of law. He has due process. That's, God damn it. I mean, this isn't hard.
Right.
Well, all right. Speaking of due process.
There's more?
Well, no. Here's a guy who's, I guess, actually getting his due process. We haven't had an update on Luigi Mangione in a while. Some, on the internet are treating him like a folk hero. I'm sure everybody knows who he is by now. Attorney General Pam Bondi recently said they're going to seek the death penalty. What are your thoughts on that?
It's dumb. So they've been trying to, this is the Trump admin I'm talking about now, they have been trying to reinstate capital punishment at the federal level since their administration began. And I think that they see this as a high visibility target and an easy one to make recommendations on. So the attorney general basically weighed in to say that they should be pressing charges and looking for a capital punishment as a part of this.
Well, they're certainly.
I think it's all staging because it's currently being tried in New York. So you're going to have a New York jury. And they're going to have to find unanimously that he should be put to death for that to happen. Which I'm actually interested to hear somebody who actually knows the law talk about this, because I sort of had it under my head that, or implanted in my head from a legal eagle that I saw 100 million years ago when this first started, that they were already going to have a tough time trying this case
as like
with charges laid as such.
Right.
And now they're going to be looking for a death penalty sentence to go with it. Seems like they're stacking a lot against themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to change. He's still going to get like the one. He's going to be found guilty of the one charge. He's not like, it's not like he's going to be getting away with it because they're stacking a lot against themselves. The way that they're going to do it is they're going to lay out all of these different charges, and it will probably be a guilty, innocent kind of thing, right? But
yeah, like the 34 charges for Trump.
Right, exactly. Well, wasn't he found guilty on all of those?
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. But he could have been found innocent or
right.
not guilty on some of them. Sorry. I gotta, my
fault. So
yeah, he's facing 11 state criminal counts in New York, including first-degree murder and murder as a crime of terrorism.
Right.
So it was the second one, murder as a crime of terrorism, is the one that they're not likely going to be able to prove unless, some really crazy circumstances occur. But I mean, first-degree murder seems like a slam dunk because he killed that guy and we all saw it.
I mean, and then there's
his defense might be that wasn't me, and it'll be on the state to prove it. But
yeah, and there was other various weapons possessions charges as well. So it's not like he's going away. He's going to go away for a while.
Right. I think that some of the other things are like conspiracy to commit murder and some stuff like that. And that seems like pretty easy to figure out because he was like staying in the Manhattan hostel with a fake ID, and he had been like when he was talking to people who are now going to be witnesses, he was giving them false statements about where he was going and where he was from and da 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 da. So like the conspiracy to commit the murder is pretty slam dunk, I would think.
And then he's also, I mean, there's two separate trials here too, I believe. There's state and federal. He's being charged with crimes at the state level, which he's already pleaded not guilty to. and then his hearing to enter a plea for federal charges isn't until later this month. I think it's the 18th or something. But you can just see, I mean, the point of this story and bringing this story up is you can see Pam Bondi's in her statement. You can see the framing. Everything now is an act of political violence.
Right.
So, I mean, arguably, you could say that Mangione's, alleged attack on Brian Thompson was an act of revenge, of whatever. But calling it political violence, terrorism, I mean, that seems like a stretch to me. But you can see the frame. She says, innocent man, Brian Thompson, an innocent man and father of two. All right, okay, sure. And then act of political violence. I mean, we see what you're doing. It's just like the Tesla thing. It's funny. I saw an interesting article today where it was kind of like everybody's trading in their Teslas and nobody knows why. And you're like,
Oh yeah,
oh really? Nobody knows why?
everybody knows why.
You know why? But the framing on it, right, is that, oh, this is terrorism. And everybody is focused on, oh, this one guy did this to a dealership. This one person attacked somebody in a car, and they're pointing out these three instances. But you're talking about three people who aren't buying cars. We're talking about there's a significant drop in the resale value of these cars, and
Right.
that's coming from somewhere else. It's not a George Soros is sending me a check to not buy a Tesla.
Is it because we're all afraid Luigi Mangione, like repeat killers or like copycats, are going to kill people who buy Teslas?
Jesus Christ, don't put that out there. I hope not.
Political violence,
Oh,
active
but no,
terrorism.
I don't think that's it either. I think there's just a guy who's acting like a weird Nazi that people are like, well, I don't want to be associated with this in any way. How is that so hard
Right.
to see? I don't understand.
Yeah. I don't know.
So not everything is an act of political violence or even an act of it's not. I would argue it's barely even political to say I don't want to be associated with a guy who is who acts like a petulant little man baby the way that Elon does. So yeah, I don't even think that's political.
Okay.
It's weird that we had to choose sides on that.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I completely agree. I think that that the more visibility Americans get to Elon and his shenanigans, the more he is disliked. I think people see through his obvious layers very easily.
Right.
You have a lot of people on the right who are obviously diehard Elon fanboys, and they love they're the guys who are like, he didn't do a Nazi salute, okay? He was, and then they do all sorts of mental gymnastics to go through that. I think normal people see Elon Musk do that and they go, fucking weirdos doing a Nazi salute. You see the weirdo on TV? Like, I have a tiny little bit of breaking news for you about the Wisconsin Supreme Court.
What do we got?
I don't know if you've heard about this, but there's a little political activities council or something.
Okay.
Called America PAC. You heard of the America PAC?
Uh-huh. I have.
This is Elon's PAC now. This was posted just a little bit ago, like an hour or two ago. And it says, breaking, starting now, you can earn more as a block captain or super judge Brad Schimmel. I don't know how to say his name.
Schimmel.
You will
What's
earn
a super what's a super judge?
Hashtag super judge.
Oh,
that's what they're saying.
Sakes.
You'll now earn $50 for every picture with a Wisconsin resident outside of a voting location.
Huh?
They'll get $50 too.
What?
So it's a scheme where if you take this picture and you send it to I guess America PAC, I'm not really sure. You upload it to their site. It's a signee on the Block Captain website. I'll send that to you. And it's buying these pictures to show that you care.
It's too late.
Only problem with that is that this violates election laws in Wisconsin. You're not allowed to take
Is that a problem?
pictures, or you're not allowed to have political attire at all. For one, you can't have like a sign that says Skimmel within 100 feet of a polling location. So they're like, take a picture and you're wearing one and you got a tie and you're voting. And so more lawsuits for Elon.
Look at this stupid picture. This is the
AI slop.
Elon retweeted this AI slop of Super Judge. But does that even look like the guy? I don't even know. I've seen pictures of him and I thought he had a beard and was balding. Like I don't know. Anyway.
You don't know?
No.
Yeah, he's balding. No, he doesn't have a beard.
He doesn't have a beard?
He looks like this guy I don't understand this jawline. Like they've given him like a round face, but he's like a skinny faced fellow. Oh, I guess for a number of years he had like a little goatee.
All right, so submit your block captain photos. Oh, there's a 5-hour bonus. All amounts below are increased to $50.
Yeah, so they started this the other day and it was $20, but now because it's down the wire, they've upped it to $50. So it'd be a real shame if you started messing with their systems by sending them, pictures of things that they might not really want.
I mean, yeah, it'd be a real shame if you just started putting in actual names of residents and then just dumping in AI generated photos of, use and go ahead and use Grok. Really use all the free Grok. All the free Grok you can and put in a bunch of AI generated slop photos in here and make them go through that. And then
I like how, this is completely off topic and it's a silly way to come at this, but you and I are software developers, right? So like you can look at this and you go, okay, I'm going to take this picture of myself. I'm going to upload it here. I'm going to give them my first, last, and my mailing address, right? And what are they going to do? They're going to send me a check? Is that how that's going to work?
Allegedly, I assume.
It's all just data capture, right?
This is all just data capture.
Stealing people's
Yeah.
Oh man.
And probably done terribly. I mean, but look at this website.
Oh, I know. It's design is their passion. You can tell.
Okay, so we got a little bit more breaking news. Unfortunately, not election related. It seems like we're learning an FDA worker is confirming that the CDC's entire FOIA office is gone. The FDA's communications and web office were just cut. Essentially, this FDA worker is saying the FDA is, as we know it, is gone.
It's effectively dead. Yeah,
it's dead. Well, that can't have any downstream consequences. Is that true? Are we preparing for the summer of foodborne illnesses? Are we like what?
We're not preparing for anything. What I'm preparing for, I think that a lot of people really overlook like a pivotal tenet of the FDA is that they disallow things going to market that are dangerous. Like
right.
if you're a libertarian, you're like, I want to be able to do whatever I want to be able to find, but like to a point, a company has to at least show that their product isn't going to effectively hurt everyone who takes it. Without the FDA in place, we're going to have snake oil salesmen everywhere. And there will be nobody with that stamp of FDA approved on.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not going to know who's who and what's what. And by the time we figure out that all these things cause cancer in everybody, the guys will be, onto their next grift with their billions of dollars.
I mean, yeah,
that's really where my worry is.
Yeah, you're going to have to rely on your state and local governments to keep enforcing those kinds of protections that are there to keep you safe. Right. I once had a conversation with somebody who was trying to make the argument that health inspectors shouldn't exist and that it was the free market should be able to handle a situation like bad service / poor hygiene at a restaurant. And it's right. Like, how many people though have to die before word gets out that like, oh, I'm not going to eat at that restaurant down the street? I mean, like the
Yeah.
point of those inspections is not only one to make sure you're complying with things that are keeping people safe, but also just I mean, I'll just say it as somebody who used to run restaurants in a former life, the fear of one of those inspections shutting you down, keeps you on your toes, right? And like make sure that you have all of your procedures in place. Um, to make sure you're not killing people. Relying on the free market means that more people are going to get sick for no reason, potentially die. Before you're like,
Right.
well, I'm not going to that Arby's on,
And and I'll point out that this speaks directly to this you know bout of bird flu that we've been seeing and causing egg prices to soar, right? Well, do you know who mandates the response to that and handles recalls of like tainted foods and things?
I mean,
FDA does that.
we just saw egg whites. Did you see the egg white recall? I think
No.
I think let's see. I think there was an egg white recall, like or like the carton of eggs.
Yeah, like cartons. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Over 212,000 pounds of liquid egg products like egg beaters and Bob Evans were
Yeah.
recalled due to potential contamination with cleaning solution containing bleach. Okay.
And oh, but the FDA is closed now. So
Now,
I guess just drink them or eat them, bleach is fine. Trump told you to take bleach to deal with COVID. So
to be fair, this came from the
yeah.
US Department of Agriculture's Food Safety and Inspection Service, which as far as I know, currently still exists.
USDA does handle a lot of that stuff. I don't mean to conflate it with the FDA and say that the FDA is in charge of it. The FDA does do a lot of food recall style
Yes. Yeah.
interventions, we'll say, but you're right. The USDA is basically the vanguard for that.
Yeah, so that currently still exists, but the FDA, like you say, I mean, it does do like regular food safety testing, especially like meat and poultry. It approves medication, it regulates medical devices.
Right.
It all of that. It does all of that stuff.
Keeps lead out of your stuff and yeah.
I think the reason it's kind of like they were going through the list, like they were doing with diversity, equity, and inclusion, and they were seeing like, oh, equity, and then suddenly like tax forms were pulled that had like equity in it, and like it didn't make any sense. I think one of the things the FDA does is also ensures vaccine safety. And they're like, oh, it has vaccine in it. We're not doing anything vaccine related
Yeah.
anymore. The FDA protects against radiation, like radiation
Yeah.
emitting devices. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
the FDA does so much. Who is this for? Who is eliminating the FDA for? I mean, I don't get it.
The taxpayer, Nate.
Oh,
It's eliminating for the taxpayers
but where?
because of how much money we spend on the FDA every year.
So am I getting a refund? Am I paying fewer taxes? Like what is happening? What?
Nothing. You're
Nothing.
no,
Okay.
no, no. You're going to pay the same taxes. You
Okay.
might be paying more taxes. It's unclear. Also, if the FDA were completely cut entirely, that would save approximately $6 billion a year, or nothing, basically nothing.
Yeah, no, it's listen, I understand that all of these things add up, okay? And I understand there truly is waste in the government. Okay, there is. I mean, I'm not going to come out here and start beating the drum for the government. Like that's not my thing. There is waste, things
Mhm.
can be done more efficiently. This is absolutely not the way to do it.
Right.
This
It comes back to the same argument we always make. Like we talk about healthcare as a right all the time. We're like, healthcare is one of those things that we should, as a society, just pay for and have for everybody as a right because it's for the greater good. It doesn't. I don't care if it costs money. It should be good for everybody, and that's that. FDA is the same way. I kind of don't care that it costs money. Same with Department of Education.
right.
I don't give a shit that costs money. These are things that I think most Americans think are imperative to the society improving. Is
Right.
educating all of our youth and giving them a solid education so that they understand the difference between facts and opinions. but also like making sure that their food is healthy, making sure that there's not any carcinogens that are the stuff that we're forcing them to do every single day, having air quality standards that must be adhered to. Like these parts of the bureaucracy are for important needs.
Well, I think that's the disconnect, or one of the major differences between people on the left and people on the right.
Sure.
I think that fundamentally people on the left believe that social safety nets and generally helping people that doesn't directly benefit you has some positive effect on society as a whole, which sure in turn can benefit you. I mean, in turn, it benefits your communities, it benefits the country as a whole. And on the other side of that, it's, well, I ain't getting none of that for me, so why should they
Right.
get it? You know?
Right.
And that, I think that's one of the core differences. It's selfishness.
It is. We've tried to make that argument over and over again. I remember I had this argument with my father-in-law, people, about here in California, we have free school lunches now. So if your kid goes to school and you don't have time to pack him a lunch, it doesn't matter. He's not going to go hungry. He'll have a lunch. He just has to ask for it. That's it. And my father-in-law was like, well, I don't want to pay taxes for these kids to eat food. And I was like, did you hear yourself right there? Why don't you want kids to eat food? It costs you, the taxpayer, 60 cents a year. Like,
Yeah.
why do you care?
Every kid
such little money.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's true. And there are people that there were two arguments to that. I remember when we were looking at like Tim Waltz's food school programs, right? It was, well, I didn't get that, was one argument. And what about the rich kids? How come they're going to get that?
Yeah. And the answer is, I don't care. I don't care at all.
Yeah.
If the rich kids want to eat food and they don't want to pay for it, that's fine. I don't see why that's a problem.
Yeah.
Being of the opposite opinion seems like a real problem. Being like, I don't think the poor kids should get any food because they can't afford it, is a real dick way to live your life.
It's a real dick way to live your life. It really is. And it's the same with the college refunds on the rebates, the blah, 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 blah. You know the word. You know the word. You guys.
Reimbursement. There it was.
When Trump became president,
Biden tried to pass. He tried to pass the thing to give people a little bit of try to forgive student loans up to a certain point, as I recall. And they're like, but what about the rich kids? I'm like, I don't give a shit. As long as everyone gets them, why do I care if the rich kids get them? Such a dumb position.
It's such a dumb position. Guys,
rich kids are breathing air. We gotta do something. We're gonna make air cost money now.
How do we quote unquote make America great if we're like, well, it can't be better for the next generation than it was for me? That makes no sense. That's a complete contradiction.
Man, I'm starting to think that make America better, they're only talking about some of America.
I think they're talking about make America better by culling. I think that's what they're talking about.
They're moving into ethnic cleansing territory. Is that where we're going?
I mean, that's what we're seeing, isn't it? I mean, we're removing people of color from the United States. We're involved in ethnic cleansing in other parts of the world. I mean, it seems like that's just it. That's what we do. This is the United States, everybody. Welcome. This is our claim to fame now. I mean, God damn.
I want us to go out on an up note.
All right, give me something to go. What are you giving me?
I just linked it to you. It's breaking as of like 3 minutes ago.
Breaking as of 3 minutes ago. I don't even know. I'm going to copy the link. I'm going to share it, and then you tell me what
I'll tell you what it is.
Okay. What are we looking at? Ooh. Okay. What are we looking at? Give me some good news. Okay, we're looking at Mahmoud Khalil. So give me some good news.
Federal judge keeps Mahmoud Khalil's habeas case in New Jersey, denying the Department of Justice's motion to dismiss it.
Okay.
So this lends itself to the notion that this case will indeed occur in New Jersey, as compared to, like, I forget where they're trying to do it in Florida or something, or Texas or Louisiana. I don't remember. And so this is a win for him, because he should be able to have a better legal defense in the state of New Jersey as compared to where they were holding him. This is breaking, like I said, and actually a piece of good news. Bet you didn't even see that coming.
I didn't see it coming, and I really appreciate you giving this to us. I will tell you, for me, the only good right news for Mahmoud Khalil would be that he is back home. He is out of
Yeah,
this Louisiana detention center. He does not belong
Louisiana.
there. Um, this is terrible. So yes, this is a little bit of good news. Do we know when the next anything for him is? I mean, I just
So at this point, again, I'm not a lawyer. I just have been following the court examiner documents as they go up,
okay.
and so my expectation is that there will be new filings from the DOJ as well as from Khalil's lawyer as to the next step. So I'm sure that there's an order at the bottom here that says like, what the next steps are.
Here we
Like they
go.
must reply before blah blah blah.
Yeah. That request. Okay, so let's see. The petitioner has sought permission to amend the petition to add appropriate respondents now that the dust is settled and is clear. Blah blah blah. That request is hereby granted, and the petition may be amended to add additional respondents by April 3rd. Okay, that wasn't exactly what I was looking for.
So they're
I
going to
don't know
have
what
to,
any
yeah,
of that
but
meant.
that's what it says. They'll have to file an amended appeal for what they want to do next.
Okay. My dream here is that Khalil is released and then he sues the shit out of this government. I mean, sue the ever loving shit out of them and win, because this is unbelievable. The fact that he is
Yeah,
still there, the fact that Gabrielle is in uh El Salvador, the Turkish student that was taken off the streets in Tufts, all the other cases that we don't know about. This has to end, and
yeah,
I hope that Mahmoud's case, I hope it's expedited. I hope it's resolved quickly, and I hope
yeah.
it stops the government from trying to from
I
continuing
hope
this.
that, yeah, because they're doing extrajudicial arrests
They're kidnapping
and
people. They're
deportations.
kidnapping.
They're kidnapping people. They're
The
not being able to see a lawyer. They're not able to have their case head in front of a judge. And you need to win some of these for them to actually start obeying the law again, because otherwise they run rant.
I mean,
Um,
you need give them all due process and
yeah,
prove that they are gang
yeah,
members. Prove it.
yeah. No, I mean it's or if you're going to detain them, and maybe you need to prove to have them deported, at the very least show probable cause. Like in it, if this were a case uh that wasn't about people, it was about property, like this would already have been thrown out. They'd be like,
Right.
you haven't shown us anything,
Right.
give them back his
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like
I
that,
mean,
it would be over.
I will say.
I'll just
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh,
Oh, you.
I'll say that at the very end of this document, it says something interesting. It says, in the ordinary course, this court's decision today would likely be unappealable. But there may be reasons for allowing an interlocutory appeal here under sections and stuff. The court will solicit the parties' views on this question. So what it's just saying is like, that's very pointed in being like, normally you're not allowed to appeal this. It's going to stay in New Jersey, and the rules that have been here for hundreds of years say that this will not be appealed. And they're like, however, given that you are the government, I am willing to hear some reasons why we might want to appeal this, and
Yeah.
then we'll see.
Yeah. I will say, between this and the quote unquote ICE administration error that sent that
Yeah,
Maryland farther to El Salvador, if you're a officer of the law, or an ICE officer, can't be feeling very safe for you right now, to go to show yourselves, and it's no wonder why you pathetic losers are out on the streets in masks and hiding your badges and in unmarked
yeah.
vehicles, because what you're doing is wrong. What
Yeah.
you're doing is wrong.
Well, and
So
they're treating it like it's a like I think that these are cowboys, right? These are like the guys who really don't have a lot to do, because it turns out that if you're an ICE administrator, most of your job is just collecting people at the border who are seeking asylum and then doing paperwork. And so they want to feel like Dirty
Do that.
Harry. They want to have like an
Yeah.
excitement, and then yeah, so they want to, Jason Bourne all this stuff. So they like to have the, oh, I'm undercover. Gotta go
Or
arrest this dangerous criminal. You're like, this is a grad student.
yeah.
What the fuck are you
Or
talking?
they're super thrilled that they're removing colored people from the United States.
Well, I hope it's not that.
Well,
I wouldn't make
I'm
it.
sure there is that too. I'd like to see, have any ICE agents resigned? I'd love to see that. I'd love to see
Yeah.
people in
No.
law enforcement.
Yeah, out of protest.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're seeing it with some of the some big lawyers. But I don't, yeah, I'm not looking for it, but I sure would like to hear about that in law enforcement. But anyway, that was a bit of good news. Cory Booker, as I'm hearing it, is going on his 23rd, I think,
He's
hour.
still going.
So
I've
he's
got
still
him up.
going. He's got a couple hours to go to break the record, but I'd also want to know what comes next for the Democratic Party. So
Yeah.
we'll keep an eye on that. We have election results coming up, so we'll be posting about that on the Blue Sky. And I think that is it for today. Mike, do you have anything else you want to leave us with?
Thanks for coming today. Everybody like and subscribe, post a comment, let us know what you think.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.